but watched the Iowa LSU game. It's interesting to see the takes. I thought both teams handled it well, especially in the press conference, just saying there wasn't any animosity there and stuff. There was a little bit where LSU took their whole team off for the national anthem, which I thought that was kind of weird. I thought everybody was kind of over that. But other than that, it was a good game.
It was good. It was. And I'm in this situation on Mondays where I have a little trouble being able to watch a ton of games. But I did watch until Iowa was up like about 11 with about 3.5 minutes left.
That 3-point play when Caitlin, I mean, that's the other thing, yes, Phil, that I enjoyed watching her game is she seems to be a student of the game, smart. I like point guards that can pass the ball. I mean, you have to have vision, and man, she does. She has vision. She tries to get her ladies involved, and then she just took over. She Steph Curry'd it. She said, "Yeah, I'm just, if you're hand down, man down."
Well, Angel Reese had it going at first.
She's a beast, right?
Oh, my gosh.
How do you not, if you're talking about she just started pressing a little bit. She got ahead of herself, Phil. She would get into her move and then just be way too aggressive instead of letting it come to her. You could tell that she was pressing just a tad.
I think she normally is about as aggressive as a player as I've seen, especially at that position. But once she's got the ankle injury, it's going to change things a little bit, But she still played really hard. That was a great game. I mean, pretty much as good as advertised. And the UConn USC game was really good too. So it was a great night of basketball with the women's Elite Eight now complete. And they can move on. All Final Four coming up for the men's and the women's over the weekend. UConn has 2 teams in. Now, that's happened quite a few times. NC State's got 2 teams in. And I'll tell you, I still think how could I not go with the top overall seed in both tournaments now?
South Carolina and UConn?
Absolutely. Absolutely. South Carolina. Now, it's different. South Carolina's been getting some good games here and again. Oregon State gave them half a good game. Indiana gave them a really good game. Carolina got 2 good games in the SEC tournament. So I feel like they're a little different than UConn, although with the men's side, UConn isn't undefeated like South Carolina is. They're just wiping the floor with anybody. As good as Illinois was playing, to go on a 30-0 run at the drop of a hat at the start of the second half, it's flipping the switch, Matt. I mean, it was a 5-point game going into halftime. That is flipping the switch. How difficult it is to do that against teams that are playing at that level as well.
UConn is on a different level, Phil. Newton, their guard, talk about another guard that has vision. The thing that I like about UConn, Phil, is it starts with their defense, and I know it's cliche to say, but it does. You watch the game, it starts with their defense, and they do not care who gets the credit or scores. They are the most unselfish team. They're just trying to get the best shot available, and you don't have. You see these things. Even I was unselfish, but they have to go through Caitlin Clark. She has to score 30 if they're going to win. That's just how it goes. Not with UConn. UConn's unselfish. They'll have 6 guys that have 12 points. They're fun to watch.
Well, got to get into this video. I can't wait until the full interview with Hunter Yurachek comes out on. What is this podcast that he was a part of yesterday? C-Unit?
Was it One Star?
I think it's called One Star Sports.
Is that the type of players we recruit up there?
I guess the title of the podcast would be, that's ironic. Is it supposed to be ironic? It must be. That I don't have inside information on what's going on with this situation with Muss or anything in the athletics department. I might be attached to a couple of teams, but I try to detach myself from all of that stuff. Inside info, all of that. Not interested in it necessarily, but we got to talk about it here time and again. And I really didn't know. I really didn't think there was anything to the rumors that had been coming out for the last couple of weeks or even before that. I truly had been thinking Eric Musselman was going to be the head coach for Arkansas men's basketball moving forward. And I think it's a good thing. And I felt like the drama was just kind of created off of message boards and social media and various talk shows and things like that. But Now I feel like there's been oxygen that has been introduced to the flame. Whether or not that's what Hunter wanted to do, or if he thought maybe just kind of having fun in his mindset with the video that came out last week, I'm just not sure if a lot of people are viewing it in that term. One person's fun can be somebody else's, what is going on here? And that's what I mean. This is fanning the flames. This is sort of helping to create even more of a firestorm on the same places that I was trying to ignore, and you just can't ignore it now.
I don't know. I was taught at a young age, Phil, if you're not winning, you don't get to have fun. So I wonder what he's doing. The football team doesn't make a bowl game. The basketball team, the worst it's been since Pelfrey, and you're out here making jokes and having fun. It's like, how about let's try to get back to getting some players up here and winning. What I know about competition and sport, winning is what's fun. Getting your butt handed to you, not making the tournament, not making a bowl game. Maybe you need to do your job a little bit instead of making funny videos that aren't funny.
Well, I want to play. It's about a 1.5 minute long soundbite, which is also edited by the One Star Sports people, and they've obviously just used this to be able to tease the episode, which is being released tomorrow, and they're just going to get a ton of downloads from the 501, the 870, and the 479. So, C-Unit, go ahead, cue this thing up.
That was a video that was recorded a few years ago. That video was probably 30 or 40 seconds in length, and we edited that down. I had our communication staff edit that down. As you guys alluded to, Coach Muscle, much to his success, has been rumored for multiple jobs that have been open here in this offseason, and he's still the basketball coach as we sit here today and record this podcast at the University of Arkansas. He has been well taken care of in his past contracts, or where he's had a couple of extensions in the past few years and 6-figure increases. There's not a new contract in place for him this year, but that video was just to kind of dispel some of the rumors that, hey, he's still our basketball coach. Now, this may change tomorrow. You'll have to ask Coach Musselman that, but we very much want him to be an Arkansas Razorback. We feel like where his contract currently sits, he's compensated in the top 12 to 15 coaches in the country. He's earned that compensation and done a great job. And that video was nothing more than an athletic director trying to have a little bit of fun with some fan bases and naysayers that saying, hey, Coach Musselman's leaving. Well, he may be leaving, but right now he's still here, and he's still our basketball coach, and he's still driving the bus.
My skin's crawling just because it feels like this has been now, it's spilled out into the open. It's just like spilling the dirt. If there isn't dirty laundry or whatever it is, it's spilled out into the open now.
That was a joke, right? Because he's like, this is a video to show that Coach Muss is still our coach. Now, he might not be our coach tomorrow, but this video is just to show you that he's still our coach.
But you might want to ask him tomorrow, which would be today.
Ridiculous. It's propaganda at its finest. Controlled content. I don't know. Maybe Hunter should take a thing from Jordan Walsh and use less words in his videos. Maybe it'll be better.
That was about a year ago that video came out, right? The Jordan Walsh. Literally, there were no words on that, right? Just some slow motion. It
was like the
music.
Reservoir Dog walk.
Yes.
That's all you got to do in your video is play some tunes and walk in slow motion, and everybody be
take
like,
a couple of
that
shots.
Was cool. Yeah.
What does it mean? I don't know what it means. Does it mean anything? Oh, who knows? I don't know. But it was kind of fun to look at.
Coach Muss is still our coach, but you better ask him tomorrow.
I don't think many people actually laughed at it.
That wasn't funny.
Yeah,
it wasn't funny.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like I felt the term these days would be cringy. Like, I think Hunter's a good athletics director. I mean, he's the guy who brought Muss on here. I think that good things have happened with him running Arkansas Razorback athletics. And I think that good things can continue, can get better in the future in some of the sports that we kick around here so often. But I don't know what else to say about that video. I only want to play it once because, you can't have your head in the sand about that if it's out there for everybody to see. So I don't know. We can let fans react to it and wonder what it means and or whose side you take on this, because it almost does seem like sides are drawn. That's another thing that you get from this.
He said words and didn't say anything. That was the hope. That's what I mean by it's better to not say anything. If he kind of just went in a circle. He didn't accomplish anything.
Well, we can accomplish a lot or something like that over the next 2 hours, 50 minutes or so on halftime. which will include talking with the one and only Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. We'll get into his thoughts on the Final Four and whatever else is going on in college football right now with spring ball that he doesn't watch. And Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation in our second hour, and the voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, coming up in just a moment, plus your calls and texts as we go throughout the show on the McLarty Daniel hotline. We'll open those phones in about 20 minutes or so. So stay with us. We've got Chuck Barrett coming up on halftime in just a moment.
This is halftime. Will your bracket be better than Matt Jones, Derek Ruskin, and the rest of the ESPN Arkansas team? Then prove it. Sign up for the HitThatLine.com Bracket Challenge presented by On the Mark Sports Bar and Grill in Fayetteville, 810 Billiards and Bowling in Fort Smith, and Shelter Insurance agent Chris Dooley. Registration is easy. Just find the contest on HitThatLine.com. The HitThatLine.com Bracket Challenge is also brought to you in part by Walk On Sports Bistro, Century Bank of the Ozarks, Cafe Conchisme, Links at Chaffee Crossing, and Foghorns Wings.
Spring is just around the corner, and Jelco Outdoors is ready with all of your spring fishing gear. Crappie, bass, catfish, Jelco has a great selection of rods, reels, and baits to help you fill that stringer. Spring turkey supplies are rolling in daily, and the firearms department is stocked up with ammo for outdoor shooting. Spring is almost here, so get outdoors and enjoy the spring season. Stop by Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, for all your outdoor gear. Think spring, think Jelco Outdoors.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Now is a great time to start your career at Simmons. For a limited time, we're offering up to a $15,000 hiring bonus for maintenance techs, including electricians and refrigeration techs. Simmons offers vacation matching, a 401k plan, and premium health care for team members and their families through our care clinics at no additional cost. Learn more at workatsimmons.com or stop by the Fort Smith Hiring Center at 4900 Rogers Avenue, Suite 103 in Fort Smith. Find out more about the $15,000 hiring bonus and start getting paid sooner with same-day hiring options. We look forward to seeing you.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79. Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best dark pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Hi, this is Matt Jones with the Halftime Show, and I will be broadcasting live from the Party Place in Fort Smith on April 8th, or better known as Eclipse Day, from 11 to 2. Halftime will be at their new location at 7810 Rogers Avenue behind Ashley Furniture. It's going to be a Party Place celebration with fun things to do and, of course, giveaways. It's the Halftime Show at the Party Place on Monday, April 8th.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Well,
This. Tell me, can you spit this? I'm on get this and tell me what you think of this. I'm in the mood. Slow me down if I can. Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All guests join us on the McClarty Daniel hotline, and the voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, is there this Tuesday. Always appreciate your time, and happy April, Chuck. How are you?
Well, happy April to you boys, too.
Watching basketball last night, a couple of really good games in the Elite Eight, and probably looks like the favorites come out on top in each one of them, too.
Yeah, I watched LSU and Iowa play. I did not see the second game. And that was a really entertaining basketball game between LSU and Iowa. Watch that, and, moving on to the Final Four.
Chuck, this NIL deal, if you're Iowa, do you not – I know Ice Cube came out and said they were going to give Caitlin Clark $5 million. If you're Iowa, do you not give Caitlin Clark $5 million to come back?
I don't know. You know, I was reading where I guess she's the highest earner on either the men's or the women's side in the NIL. She's $3.1 million. But her money, if you really look at it, her money comes from
State Farm,
Gatorade, and I don't have the list in front of me, but it's a long list. And that's where the bulk of her money comes from. My sense is, and Phil knows more about this than I do, but my sense is that a lot of this NIL money on the women's side is NIL money, period. There may be some that comes from the collective, but I think the bulk of it is really what we originally thought name, image, and likeness would be. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's just kind of the way I've sort of looked at it from the outside.
I think LSU does things a little differently in women's basketball.
So.
Yeah,
But it's very few programs. Would that be right?
I think you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
But even if you just look at the LSU baseball roster, you look at the football roster, women's basketball roster, they have older players that are not just looking to compete in the SEC. They're older players who have been successful.
That guard was at Louisville in the Final Four.
Yeah. Right. And Anissa Morrow. I mean, it's even with the baseball team, too. Look at Skeens the year before, Mac Bingham, Tommy White. It's like that's the I want to use the term, the professional place where they're paying them out of their own collective. I would point mostly at LSU.
Okay. All right. You know more about that on the women's side than I do for sure, and maybe and probably baseball too. I know that I think at most of the schools, though, when it comes to someone like Caitlin Clark, Matt's original question, do you pay her $5 million to come back? I don't know that Iowa's in a position to do that, right. But I think my sense is, and maybe I'm wrong, but my sense is that her earning power in terms of State Farm and Gatorade and the others may very well be at the collegiate level as opposed to the WNBA. But now, as I say that, if she were to go to the WNBA, the attention that she would bring to that league initially would be enormous. I don't know how long it would last. My sense is that Caitlin Clark is a 2 to 3 year social phenomenon, if you want to use that term. I don't think she's going to be as hot 2 or 3 years from now as she is today. I think if she came back to Iowa, she might be able to sustain it for another year.
Well, there has to be the next storyline. I mean, that was the deal with Bird and Magic. It wasn't just them playing in the national championship game. It was what happened next in the NBA. And she's got a foil in Angel Reese. I guess part of the question is, can that move on to the next level? Can that story move on to the next level? Because she's got her fans, you're right, and fans that are kind of waking up to women's basketball in a sense. But just because she's moving on to the next level doesn't necessarily mean that all the fans stay. There's got to be the story or the storyline to follow.
Well, I don't know that the WNBA now and the NBA when Bird Magic came in are really comparable. I mean, the NBA was well established, and it's not what it is now, and it's not what it became with Magic and Bird, but the money that Magic and Bird, the money that any player going from college to the NBA made was substantial. The salaries in the WNBA are not substantial. I saw where Brittany Griner signed for 150 grand, or maybe not her, maybe it was another one, but one of them signed for 150 grand essentially, and that's certainly not NBA money. And what I wonder in terms of Caitlin Clark is if she went to the WNBA, what would her brand be worth in a league that I don't think there's going to be any circumstance where the WNBA gets the attention that, for example, the NCAA women's tournament is getting right now. I don't see any circumstance under which that happens. Even with Caitlin Clark, even with Angel Reese, I just don't think that it carries the same cachet, the same magic. And I think it'd get old. But that's a long way of saying I think Caitlin Clark ought to stay in college for another year. I really do, and I think Angel Reese should too. I think these are the best days of their lives. I don't think trying to compare what life in the WNBA versus the NBA is like, I just don't think they're comparable. I think they've got it really good where they are right now. That's an armchair quarterback's assessment and nothing more. I will absolutely admit that.
Well, I'm with you. I think her earning power, just everything that's going on, marketability, you stay in school. Hey, something about marketability, this video your boy Hunter Yurachek came out with. What does that mean? Have you seen that video? I watched it, and then I tried to think, well, what does it mean? What did it mean when you saw it?
Well, I don't mean to sound like a simpleton and oversimplify things, but it sounded to me like exactly what he said. We've got a working contract. Eric Musselman's working. He's our coach. He's very fairly compensated. He's among the top 12 to 15 in the country. And he offered the caveat that I think anyone would, that, obviously the final decision's his. Like, any of us that are on the air right now, it's ultimately up to us if we want to leave. I mean, Tommy could get on the air and say, hey, man, we're thrilled to death that all three of those guys work there. But ultimately, it's up to them if they decide to leave. Well, that's just a factual statement, and people always try to read things into something when it's not there. I know there are a lot of people that think there is a there. I get that, but I'm not one of them.
I just feel, and it's not like I'm somebody that thinks Muss has to come out and say anything.
I understand.
All I'm thinking is we got to hold on to our hats until this whole coaching carousel is over. Whether you, as a fan, whether you like Muss as the coach or not, it's just going to be. It feels like it's going to be a little bit unstable, maybe for the next month or so, and that might not even be in Eric's mind. He's out there recruiting and preparing for next season and everything, and it's all of us that are the ones talking about it and wondering what's going on. But until it all settles down, and who knows when that is, and this USC Open job does, just at least get my interest piqued a little bit. It's going to be kind of a shaky few weeks.
Well, we've gotten somehow to the point, and the media is culpable in this. We've somehow gotten to the point where we have to have a statement. We have to have a video. We have to have something that is absolute. Just like in society, we've gone from beyond a reasonable doubt to beyond a shadow of a doubt. And video and statements and social media and all of that has played into that. I think we're making mountains out of molehills here. I don't think there's anything to this. And without trying to disparage anyone, there are a handful of major media, what I would call, legitimate, news outlets in our state. And none of them have reported on this. It's all the internet stuff. And look, I understand promoting your product, and I understand people. I know how it works, and in terms of the media business and attracting attention, I've been in it my whole life. I get all that, and I'm not casting stones. I'm just saying I don't think there's very much there. There's enough maybe to get people talking, but I don't think under the microscope this story holds water.
See, I think that 6'10" guy we just signed that got committed to the portal, to me, that makes me think that Muss is staying, that he's out there doing his thing.
Yes. I mean, do you think that, honestly, people, do you think a guy from the University of Massachusetts is going to commit to playing basketball at the University of Arkansas if he wonders what the head coach is going to do? Do you really think that's going to happen? I mean, let's put 2 and 2 together on this. No, he would not be coming if he had any question in his mind about whether Eric Musselman was going to be the coach. He's not coming to play for the Razorbacks. He's coming to play for Muss. Now, he's coming to play for the Razorbacks indirectly, but a kid that's played 3 or 4 years at UMass doesn't say to himself, I think I'm going to move to Arkansas. He's coming to play for Eric Musselman. If he didn't think he was going to be here, he wouldn't be coming. I mean, to me, it's as easy as it gets.
We've got Chuck for another segment. If you want to call up our McLarty Daniel hotline and get on with us, it's open. 877-377-6963. Taco Tuesday over at Joe's Grilling Cantina. Don't forget about Fajita Friday coming up later this week. Charbroiled steak and chicken, tender, full of flavor. All the extras. Saturdays are endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef and chicken enchiladas that you can eat. Joe's Grilling Cantina, great Tex-Mex, better service, 3400 South 74th, right across from Harps in Fort Smith. Stay with Halftime. We're back in just a moment.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers behind Newt. Sponsored by 2 of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV, with brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago. On-site financing available, plus food trucks, a variety of vendors, and downtowns for the kids. Make plans to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
We all know breakfast is an important part of your day, but sometimes when you're traveling for business, you end up staying at a hotel that doesn't offer any. You know what happens? You grab a cup of coffee and skip the meal entirely. We've all been there. But if you book a room at La Quinta by Wyndham, you can enjoy their free Bright Side breakfast featuring delicious baked goods, fruit, eggs, yogurt, and waffles. And really, who doesn't want to start their day with a fresh hot waffle? Tonight, La Quinta, tomorrow you shine. Book direct at lq.com.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive, and financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Dial Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Are you in a constant battle with mosquitoes outside your house? Well, stop smacking yourself in the face and call Mosquito Joe. Whether it's playing ball with the kids or cooking out with friends, Mosquito Joe treatments allow you to enjoy your yard without the nuisance of pesky mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas. No more itching and no more wasting time on smelly bug sprays that don't work. Visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com or call 479-202-9960 to get more information and a free quote. With Mosquito Joe, outside is fun again.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. West Ark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact West Ark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. West Ark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call West Ark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
She's built for speed like a black cat from Dolores. Good for the needy, like Nietzsche, Freud, and Horace. But I'm skin flint, broke, making no money, making jokes. But baby, I worship with you. My feet are burning like a Roman hydrocross. But the Romans are gone, they changed their name because they lost. She writes letters like a Jack Chick comic, just a bunch of propaganda. Make my fingers histrionic like this.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, with us on the McClarty Daniel Hotline as well as we take you here throughout a Tuesday. Chuck, all this talk on basketball of the first half hour here, and haven't even brought up the number one baseball team in college baseball.
Yeah.
And that's Arkansas. Get Arkansas State today, 23-3. And yesterday at the Swatters Club, Dave Van Horn, in perfect understated wording, says we're pretty good. But that reflects, I think, how any head coach would feel, even about the number one team in the country on April 1st.
Well, you know Dave Van Horn pretty well, and I was around him for a number of years. Pretty good is a very high compliment from Dave Van Horn. I'm not so sure that's not about as high as it goes when he talks about his own team. He knows he's got a good team. They've just got to keep doing what they're doing. My observation out of the weekend was that for all the talk about pitching, and there was great pitching, and this team did have a good offensive weekend. I thought they made some plays on defense in the infield that are the kinds of plays that teams that win in Omaha make, double plays. You know this, Phil. I mean, good defensive teams, say, for example, you got one-on-one out. You got a hot shot to third. You know, good teams, the third baseman knocks it down. Can't make a play at second, gets the guy at first. Great teams turn a 5-4-3 double play. Because if you don't get that out at second base and the next batter gets a base hit, that becomes a huge play in the baseball game. When Arkansas had chances to turn double plays, they turned them. I think Sprague Lott is superb at third base. And I don't know that I've ever seen the baseball play Peyton Stovall. It's always the other way around. Aloy, very good at short. McLaughlin, very good at first. That's a championship-level infield defensively. There's been a time or two I've wondered, about the outfield, but you can probably say that about everybody's outfield. They've got a .988 fielding percentage in the SEC. And when you get to Omaha, when you get to the end of the season, I'm not talking about, reeling off 6 of 8 in the SEC in the middle of May or April. I'm talking about winning in June. Those close games require play like that. And I think this team's good enough offensively. They're certainly good enough pitching-wise. I think defensively on the infield right now, they're where they need to be. They may need to tinker a little bit in the outfield. You know better than I do on that, but that's just kind of been my observation.
You hit on the double plays and how that's such a huge difference. Since Stovall got back, they've averaged, I think it might be a double play per game, and it wasn't anything close to that while he was not playing second base. So that's been a huge difference in it. And one aspect that I wonder if it kind of gets lost a little bit amongst all the great pitching is that they're doing this now with 4 catchers. Now it's mostly 2 guys that are getting that playing time right now, which are, of course, Hudson White. He's catching 2 games on the weekend, and then Ryder Helfrich or Parker Rowland. They were only carrying 3 catchers on the weekends. And I kind of feel like even in some aspects that there's a couple instances where you might be able to improve. This team has not even come close to peaking yet. So they can get better.
No, you're right. And for the catcher's position, for example, right now and for a while, he'll have the luxury of going with a hot hand. When it gets down to the nuts and bolts at the end of the season, you go with a guy the other team can't take advantage of. And you've seen how that works. Now, now the guy that's hitting the ball the best or the guy that catches a certain pitcher the best way, you can do some of that. And he is, and they're all good players. They're all good players. They could all start probably anywhere else. But I do sort of think that when it gets down to the end, you're going to have the total package. And number 1 on that list is going to be, can the other guys take advantage of you? Are you a liability defensively? Can you cost us a run? The guy that they feel best about in that area, I'll bet, is the guy that's going to be in there at the critical spots.
I feel like Stovall is a leader on the team in the way that he handles his business, just in his overall approach to the game. But I almost feel like they feed off McIntyre, which is tough to do as a pitcher, to be something that a team feeds off of. But we saw that with Kevin Kopps. A starting pitcher can only do so much. A guy like McIntyre, who they're using 5 times now, twice in a weekend, I feel like they feed. I don't know if it's feed off of him, but there's something that he's doing aside from getting the outs. And of course that has a lot to do with how the rest of the team feels about him. But I feel like he's an emotional leader of this team too.
Well, I feel like when he comes in the game, everything's going to be okay. That if the other team's rallying, he's going to stop that rally. That if Arkansas's got a lead, we got him now. That's sort of the way I feel when he comes into the game. He's that kind of pitcher. He gives everyone that sort of feeling. As far as Stovall goes, I mean, he's a ball player's ball player. I mean, that's a ball player. And he's like Matt Jones was. He's a ball player. And other guys follow ball players. They know. Sometimes we as fans don't notice the things the players notice. Stovall's superb in every aspect of the game. I mean, he really is. I can remember when they signed him and he came in and he was okay, and I'm like, well, what's all this business about Stovall? But then you watch him and you really pay attention, which I didn't do initially, and which I've done since. And hey, he's a player now.
Speaking of players, we got the spring scrimmage is next weekend.
I know.
And we heard some good things about Taylor Green and Chuck. I like it when the team, they look for a guy, they go get their guy, and he comes in and competes and does well. I'm looking forward to see how he handles some real live game action What's the latest you've heard up there coming out of camp?
I know he's going to be very well prepared. I'm certain of that. I don't believe there are going to be very many instances that he encounters even early in the season, even in the first game, second game, Stillwater, whatever. I don't think there's going to be situations out there he encounters that phase him. Now, some will be tougher than others. But number one, he's the guy who's been through the fire at Boise State. Number two, he's been through the fire of a Bobby Petrino spring and what will be an August practice. I know one thing, and I've not been around Coach Petrino in over 10 years or so now, but I know one thing. He will apply pressure to his quarterback in practice and in the film room and in every aspect of his life. And that quarterback will be prepared to play in that football game. I'm certain of that. Now, how he's going to perform, we'll find out. He's, from what I understand, very proficient at throwing the deep ball. The thing I wonder about, and again, all we can do is think back to how it was when he was here before. But I remember all the short crosses, all the drags with Adams and Wright, and all those plays that turned into first downs and sometimes touchdowns. The touch required to throw that pass. And, Matt, you can speak to this better than anyone. But, that's kind of what I want to see, between not just, in the next 2 weeks, but, between now and even into the season. Because I just remember what a big part of the offense that was. And even though it looks easy on those short routes, when that receiver's running 100 miles an hour, it's not.
I still see Kobe Hamilton going down the middle of the field in the first half against LSU. Chuck, to your point, I think you're onto something. To me, it reminds me how Nolan Richardson was in practice. He was going to make practice. He was going to make you see situations, and he was going to make that more difficult than when you got to the game. It was easy. It was easier than what you practice, and I think that's what Bobby P is going to do to him.
I don't know why it's so hard sometimes for people to understand that when they're railing on you, and they're, all over you, it's not because they don't like you. It's because you're going to face a situation that's a lot worse than this over the course of the season. If you can't handle one guy in your face, what's it going to be like when you got 11 other monsters on the other side and 80,000 in the stands that all are screaming against you? You're going to wilt. And so some people have a hard time understanding that, and I guess maybe when I was 18 or 19 I might have too, but to me it's pretty simple.
Wonder if that works in the other aspects of life. When Bill Valentine was literally chewing my ass out when I was 23 years old, was he doing that to try to get me ready for the pressure of a minor league radio broadcast, or was he just reaming me? I think he was just reaming me. That's what that was about.
Well, he might have been reaming. Every situation's different, but I think in this one, the intent is pretty apparent.
Who's the loudest that ever yelled at you, Matt?
My pops was the heart. When I was in junior high and having your dad as your coach, he gets on you because he has to. Because everybody's looking. If he's not hard on you, then that sets the tone for everybody else. David Lee was pretty good. He'd get fired up at you, and it was all out of love, like what Chuck's saying. If I did something wrong or something that he had said and you knew, man, he would get on you, but then he'd also come back over and love on you and put his arm around you. And it's you kind of gotta almost be good cop, bad cop sometime as the same.
I thought Bill was gonna have a heart attack right in front of me. I thought his eyes were gonna pop out of his head. He was yelling at me so loudly. Chuck, did anybody go off on you like that before, where you thought they were going to have a heart attack right in front of you?
Well, I've been chewed out a time or two. Yeah. I've been chewed out a time or two.
It's been a minute. I learned how to avoid those
One
things.
or two of the names people would recognize, the rest of them probably not. But I will say this, each and every time I've gotten reamed out, I had it coming.
Right.
I guess I did.
There wasn't a single time it was unjustified.
I guess I did too that day. Do you watch much Major League Baseball now? How do you handle the first couple weeks of the season? Is it all sunshine and rainbows and just happy to be watching?
Well, I'm encouraged by the fact the Cardinals beat the Padres last night. I don't know how good they are, but they battled against the Dodgers, blew that game Sunday night, could have split. I pay attention to it. It's not. I guess I follow the crowd, kind of like the rest of the sporting world. I don't know that it's as big a deal as it once was in sports in our country, and so maybe it's not as big a deal to me. But I mean, I've watched parts of every game, not the whole game, but I mean, I know what was going on when I went to bed at night.
Yeah, flipping around, you got all those basketball games to watch too, which I guess now for at least a few days we've got to wait on in a moment. Who's going to win Final Four, Chuck? Who's give me a championship on the men's and the women's side?
Well, I'm going to pick UConn. I just don't see any evidence that anybody's going to beat them, and I'm going to go Purdue. I would love to pick NC State, but I'm going to go Purdue and UConn to win the game. All right.
That's going to be a matchup, Phil or Chuck. I was talking with Phil about that yesterday. The two bigs, the UConn big and the Purdue big, and I don't understand how you don't go into the body of Zach Edey. Everybody jumps away from him. You got to attack him, and I get it. He's 7'4".
They don't reward that anymore.
Yeah,
I think that's the reason. They're not rewarding that this year. You can't go into a big guy. As long as he just jumps straight up, I mean, you can fall off him and land on the floor, and there's not going to be any whistle.
I'd keep doing it. You got to keep doing it is the thing. Even if it happens 3 times in a row and they don't call it by the middle of the second, you got to try to get, because if Zach Edey's on the floor, I don't know how anybody beats Purdue. If you're not UConn, yeah.
But I'm going to be pulling for NC State.
You and everyone else. It's not in West Lafayette, Indiana. Chuck, we're going to run. Appreciate your time.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Of course.
Thanks, Chuck.
Voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, with us every Tuesday on Halftime. Stay with us. We'll wrap up the first hour here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Barrels and Brews Bottle Shop at the Hub and Chaffee Crossing.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
The tournament is here. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contests out there and odds, lines, and info on every game and every round right up to the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering information anytime from your desktop or your mobile device and even track your bracket real-time all the way through the tournament. Head to BetOnline today and get in on all the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is
Landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Been too long, not Sunday night. The sky had opened, I saw the light. There was a window from where to see. We all sat waiting patiently. The rain took light into the endless night. What a sight! I had the greatest grandpa.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Can't get this idea of ass chewings out of my mind here all of a sudden. I don't even remember how we got around to it there, but yeah. Loud ones, scary ones. JT says he worked for his dad, screwed up, read the wrong blueprint, was fired. 24 years later, his butt still stings from that chewing. That's a dad right there that took one of those from his own. Very interesting. And Josiah, who played at UCA, says he had a tight end coach who yelled every day in practice but loved and cared about them off the field. Like the old school, it would be, well, they're going to scream at you, and then after the game, they're going to get drunk and scream at you more, and they're not ever going to tell you that they love you too. Thinking about like the 30s up to maybe the 60s.
Well, when they stop yelling at you, when they stop coaching you, then you're probably going to have to find a new team. Or
that's a good point.
That's whenever they stop talking to you. That's when I would worry.
I've always thought it was if they're not making fun of you, then they don't care about
Same
you.
thing, right?
Well, from a coach's perspective, it's a different thing.
If he's not working on you, he's not getting after you, then you're probably going to get traded. You might need to get a new major. Things are about to be different.
What about the guy who's the butt of the joke of the guy who's just always singled out? There's always somebody that gets singled out.
There was a guy, there was a tight end from Oregon, and all the people on the team called him duck sauce. So I know what you mean. You know what? That's how it's that's how it goes. Yeah. And he didn't like it, but the more you gotta. I don't know. Hey, I mean, there's 53 alphas in a locker room, and it's the craziest, awesomest place you'll ever be. You know, there's.
You just have to expect it from a coach in some cases.
If you're not an alpha walking in there, they'll chew you up and spit you out.
All the coaches were alphas too, right? Mostly are.
You're all highly competitive. You know that you got a common. It's beautiful, especially when it's working. A couple made the playoffs twice in my 4 years in Jacksonville, and those couple. Man, it's just it's something special.
Now, there's a difference. Sometimes someone is going to get dressed down in front of a lot of people to deliver a message to the rest of the team. You do it one-on-one in like a closed-off space, not in front of everybody. A little bit different.
Yeah, I think when there's a group setting, you don't get personal. You got to have there has to still be a little thin layer of respect from both sides. And then the other thing is, I've never seen a player win an argument with a coach.
Coach handles the lineup card. Coach handles the substitutions.
You say yes, sir.
And
yes,
in some
sir, coach.
cases, the coach handles the money.
Yes, sir, coach.
Yes, sir, coach. Yes, sir, Matt Jones. 877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline. Hour number 2 of halftime right after this.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Hey, I'm Hagan Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
We're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South C Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call your local Shelter agent, Chris Dooley, at 479-646-6792.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will be in and out of the clouds across the north. Temperatures will fall through the mid-50s. We should see sunshine south. Temperatures will fall from 70 into the middle 60s. And we're looking at a decrease in the cloud cover tonight. Overnight lows in the low 40s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Well, Judge, take it to the house. And the dunk.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My hot dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
But they were one Razorback.
Second half, very happy.
It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Back on halftime into hour number 2. Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation coming up in about 15 minutes. So we have got an open McClarty Daniel hotline for you right now at 877-377-6963. Phil Elson here, Matt Jones. The C Unit Christian Johnston is producing. Hey, I want to make sure I at least offer well wishes to our friend Will the Wolf Whitson, who put up on his social media accounts earlier that he is leaving ESPN Arkansas, and I think Hogbeat, where he'd been writing for a few months, and is moving on in life to see what the next thing is. We've enjoyed having the Wolf here. Does he have to leave the nickname behind, or can he take that with him? It's a really cool nickname.
He'll always be the Wolf.
There you go. There you go.
That's fine by me. Fine by me if that's the direction you want to take.
You an Oak man? See, your Uncle Marcellus is. Oak's nice. Well, good for him. I mean, hey.
We'll miss him.
Go do your thing.
That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. C Unit's the one who's going to miss him the most, because that means he's got to sit in this chair and just produce halftime every
I get more time
Monday
with
through
you guys.
Friday. Well, you lucky you.
Right. That's what
honestly,
I'm saying.
I think that's what it's about. Lucky you. More than anything. Just instead of 2 hours, you'd be there for 3 hours every single time out. That's right. Oh, let's see. Hayden's dad grabbed him by the ear, chewed his ass out. I don't know. We've gotten into the ass chewings a little bit too much potentially. Saw Larry Lucchino died. Lucchino. Matt, you ever go to Camden Yards, Baltimore Orioles ballpark? That's a great
I've never
park.
been, but I do like the brick setup. I taken back to it's never iffy when it's Griffey turning his hat backwards in that home run derby and hitting the wall.
I was at that derby.
Yeah.
Lucchino was the brains behind that. That's the ballpark that started the boom. That I guess, what's the last ballpark you could say that opened that was supposed to be a retro style park? Because that was the first one. That was the first one that did the wrought iron gates and the wide open concourses. Now that's not retro necessarily. The wide open concourses were sort of a new thing, but to make it look like it was dropped into a neighborhood of a sort, Camden Yards was the first to do it. Lucchino is kind of a genius, because he ran the Padres, I think, when they built Petco Park. That's a spectacular ballpark too. Nobody talks about it necessarily the same way that you do about Camden Yards, but it is a great place. And then he was the CEO and president of the Red Sox when they ended the curse of the Bambino and won 3 world championships. This is someone that probably makes it into the Hall of Fame at some point. If you are at least partially responsible for helping to end the most famous, quote, curse, unquote, in sports, and then win a couple more world championships, and also be the brains behind building a ballpark that nobody knew was going to be as much of a hit as it was, and doing the same thing with San Diego, I think you deserve to be in that Hall of Fame. Man, you'd love Camden Yards, Matt. It's great. You got it's right there by the Inner Harbor. You can smell the seafood out and about. Orioles are fun to watch now. Yeah, that's worth the trip, getting over to Baltimore and staying away from the Francis Scott Key Bridge and finding a way to get into the Inner Harbor and go to an Orioles game there.
Well, there's no question that if you were to say football, NFL, NBA, or MLB, if you were to do a bucket list, I'd first would be all the baseball stadiums. That would be what I'd want to do. Like if you wanted to, next probably football and then NBA. But the thing about baseball stadiums is they're all unique. It's kind of footballs. It's the lines are the same everywhere. And some fields have a short porch. Some fields have that ramp in the center field. I don't know if they still do that anymore. Was that the Diamondbacks?
No, they took the one away in Houston.
Yeah. Houston had the ramp.
Yeah, it was called Tall's Hill.
And so
why did we do that?
They're all unique. That would be cool. I'd love to see every baseball stadium.
Did you play at Lambeau? That's the
had a preseason game. Brett Favre's last year there, and Brett Favre, he didn't play in the preseason game. Al Harris, he's a cornerback for Green Bay. Then he was shortlisted. If you were to say who's the top 3 or 5 cornerbacks you faced, he would be one of them. He was a stud.
I guess that's the one stadium that I would feel like that about, the same way that I would Fenway and Wrigley and Dodger Stadium.
Soldier Field's pretty cool.
But it's been redone,
Yeah.
It's really the columns, I think, are all that's left. And
Never played in Candlestick. That would have been cool.
Yeah, because of who played there.
Right. Yeah.
I would have loved. I've still never been. If there's one, if I'm going to do the bucket list thing for an NFL stadium, the one place that I haven't had a chance to go. So I've been to a game in Tennessee. I went to Old Texas Stadium, and AT&T is a heck of a lot nicer. I went to the Old Orange Bowl. I think that's all the NFL stadiums I've been to.
You haven't been to Hines?
Well, yeah, and then there's Hines, and I went to Three Rivers, but that doesn't count because that's the hometown. I would want to go to Lambeau.
Yeah.
There's probably like 7 other baseball parks that I haven't visited that I'd like to go visit that I would put on the same level, but that probably is just me.
Denver's got a beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
The Broncos play, and it's pretty cool. Yeah.
I'd like to be there when it's snowing.
The thing I loved about, and I know you're saying it's not on the list, but the Pittsburgh is that you can see when you're driving into the stadium, you can see the baseball park.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the other stadiums. It's pretty cool.
That's right. Yeah. Willie Stargell once said, no, it wasn't Willie Stargell. It was the New York Times described Pittsburgh as the only city with an entrance. When you come through the Fort Pitt Tunnel onto the Fort Pitt Bridge, and you're going over that's the Monongahela River. No, that's the Monongahela River, and then you can see all the stadiums and downtown and all of that. Yeah, making me want to head back to the ancestral homeland at some point this summer. It's been a couple years.
Get a Penn Station sub and go check out the game.
Shoot, Arrowhead, man.
Yeah, Arrowhead too. Maybe Arrowhead too. But I'm going to go for the tailgating, man. That's what I'm going for.
They got everything.
Played one game in that stadium. It was the loudest. They say that Seattle is the loudest, but that's domed. The loudest away crowd that I played in my 4 years in the NFL was at Kansas City. That was the loudest. They had a good atmosphere there.
Charlie's on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Charlie, what football stadium you'd go to tops on your list?
What's the tops? I'm not even going to be a homer. Actually, I want to go to Kansas City too. I want to visit Arrowhead. The thing is about Lambeau, I want to go see it, but I'm not for going to watch a game when it's negative 40 degrees. Okay, I don't. Matt, what's the coldest game you played in, bro?
Did I see where some people had frostbite from going to
we were
that playoff game in Kansas City?
We were lucky when we played Lambeau. It was a preseason game, so it was early.
Yeah.
Charlie, the Cotton Bowl, when my freshman year down in Dallas, they had an ice storm. But as far as we played Cleveland, and the wind was what made it so. Because we played a cold game in Foxborough, played a cold game in Phil. We played a couple cold games, but there was a game against Cleveland where the wind was just ripping through you, and that's what made it so
Cleveland, and you're on
cold.
the lake there. Oh man!
And hey, that wind chill probably made it feel like it was. Yeah, I bet that's crazy. Phil, you're from Pittsburgh, so I don't feel like cold affects you.
Of course, I've lived in Arkansas for almost 25 years. It's affecting me. It affects me even when it's 89 degrees outside, Charlie. Hey, and I think the coldest game I've ever been to was Arkansas LSU, right in November of 2018. It was miserable. It was 25 degrees outside. We had to walk to Maxine's later on just to get a hot toddy to warm up, man. It was terrible.
Well, you say you know how to make a good alcoholic beverage. I bet you can make some hot chocolate too. So anyway, I'll say this, I went back and listened to Eddie yesterday, and I was upset because this guy, that is the first time I've heard him ask someone a question, and I was thinking it as you were saying it, Phil. I'm like, Eddie just asked Phil a question.
It only took 3.5 years, but yeah, he did.
Hey, you know what? Like you always say, if you ain't getting better, Eddie's awesome though, and that was one of his better calls too. And he's got a lot of good ones.
Were you going in the idea if you're not getting better, you're getting worse? That's what it sounded like.
That's what I get that from Matt though. hey, and Matt's right. That's the way I think. And our coaches, one of my coaches used to always say that. So absolutely, that's the way I think. Like, and if I have a sucky phone call, I'm going to tell myself that. I might not tell y'all, but
you're going to beat yourself up about it too, Charlie. You're the guy that would go 0 for 4, would watch all of his at-bats from going 0 for 4, would break down every single pitch, and then maybe slap yourself in the face before you go to sleep.
Probably so, man. But I'm going to let it go eventually. You know, I'm the type of guy, I gotta rebound. But I will say this, you know, I want you to ask Alyssa this question, you know, with this whole crap about trash talking like you were talking about yesterday, Phil. You know, like you said, the whole label thing, like, I love it. And I'm glad that you pointed that out when I hung up yesterday. And I like Matt said, you can't go to, you know, but trash talk in between the lines, we all know when you get in between those lines, it's a different world. And so I'm glad, you know, I think South Carolina's going to win it, but I would love to see Iowa win this thing. It would be great, but I think South Carolina's going to wind up winning this thing. Just think they're too good. Y'all have a good one.
Good to hear from you, Charlie. Thank you very much. We got someone else on hold here. Let's go to Greg in Farmington. Hey, Greg, how are you doing?
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Just hanging out, talking sports, getting ready for a baseball game later on today.
Yeah, I know. I'll be there. You can verify that. Hey, you know, you're talking about lousy weather conditions at football. My immediate thoughts go back to a Razorback football game. They had just opened the upper deck on the west side, and it was a night game, and it was raining so hard that I hardly remember barely being able to see the field.
Yeah, I don't remember which game that was. I think one of the coldest football games I've ever been to was opening day for baseball this last year. 36 degrees at first pitch. That's exactly what it sounded like it was. I was pretty miserable. I think we lost Greg there for a moment. All right, we can break here in a moment and talk with Alyssa Orange. But first, remember about Crabtree RV Center, the dealership that served you in the River Valley in Northwest Arkansas for over 70 years. Crabtree RV is located at the junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma, right beside the Cracker Barrel. Your family gets the best experience starting from choosing the right RV for your adventures. The service and parts department is on site and everything you need in between at Crabtree RV, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years and 4 generations. CrabtreeRV.com for more information. We'll talk with Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation on halftime.
This is halftime.
Hi, this is Matt Jones with the Halftime Show, and I will be broadcasting live from the Party Place in Fort Smith on April 8th, or better known as Eclipse Day, from 11 to 2. Halftime will be at their new location at 7810 Rogers Avenue behind Ashley Furniture. It's going to be a Party Place celebration with fun things to do and, of course, giveaways. It's the Halftime Show at the Party Place on Monday, April 8th.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today.
Look for my Double R prop bet specials. I pick 'em, you win 'em.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Sportsman's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call your local Shelter agent, Chris Dooley, at 479-646-6792.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Well, I knocked to the window to leave her a note. Will you come with me at the back of the grove? All the trees were in bloom. That's the smell in the air. We were trembling together. We were young, we were scared, yeah. True love, hard to find. I can feel it, yeah. Blossom, there.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Always appreciate time from Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation. She joins us on Halftime today on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Good afternoon, Alyssa. How you doing?
Hey, good, guys. Always good to be with you. One of my favorite parts of the Tuesday.
Absolutely. I know Bobby Petrino spoke to the media today. Was that anything you were in on? Anything to report?
I was following along on some updates on my phone, on Twitter, which I'm sure a lot of people were, and the biggest thing I think people wanted to hear about was the quarterbacks and the offense. And he talked a lot about Taylon Green, which basically he said he solidified that number 1 spot. So it looks like Taylon Green is going to be your QB1. And he said that there's a really big battle for number 2, which I'm assuming is between Malachi Singleton and Jacoby Criswell. And then he also talked about the offense, and he said they got to have to scale it back a little bit. And that might surprise some fans a little bit, give them some PTSD from the Chad Morris days, but hopefully not too much. But he said just, the short amount of time that we've had, we had to scale back on kind of what we wanted to install. with these guys because it's brand new to them. So I think those were the biggest takeaways from what I read. But it sounds like, he's really, really impressed with the way that Taylon Green has come in and found some success. And, he made note that he's not perfect. And if he can focus on the little mechanics, he can get his throwing percentage up. And, I appreciate the honesty that he's always going to give. And that was good to see.
Alyssa, I watched the Iowa game last night, and what a game! I mean, Caitlin Clark is just a phenomenon. I mean, she's the number one college basketball player, men or women's, right now. Can they knock off South Carolina? Did you watch that game? What'd you think? I mean, just some of her shots, man. It was sick.
Yeah, no, I did. I got to watch as much as I could, kind of bouncing around the office, and then on my dinner break. One, because I think everyone just wanted to see this rematch with LSU. And you got to tip your cap to Caitlin Clark. I think Iowa's done just a really good job of keeping her creative in terms of just, okay, well, she's Caitlin Clark, but if you game plan a certain way, you can shut her down. And making sure that Caitlin Clark kind of has the freedom that she needs and the game plan around her to make her successful. She put up over 40 points. But I also have to say, too, like LSU grinded for a majority of that game. And I know that Iowa was able to pull away, but we talked so much about Angel Reese, but Flage Johnson, really good game from her. And I just, the skill level and the talent level between LSU and Angel Reese and Iowa and Caitlin Clark, like those matchups are why we watch the game, regardless men or women. And it was just really fun to not have a dog in the fight. And I don't pick Caitlin Clark over Angel Reese. I just love watching them compete against each other. And that's the most enjoyable part for me, was seeing two very, very talented women play basketball.
Well, and they play different positions, so they don't guard each other unless they're helping in a circumstance. But how about Iowa versus UConn? Because now you talk about personalities, talk about great talented players, and I feel like Paige Beckers is forgotten about sometimes. She's incredible. The kind of season she's had, and coming back from a major knee injury. I mean, and they're going to guard each other too. So, gosh, I mean, I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, this will be really interesting because we got to see Paige Beckers as a freshman when they played Arkansas. And yeah, I think, she's been around the college basketball scene for a while, that you did kind of forget about her because we've watched the blossoming of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and you had Aaliyah Boston, who was such a big name for so long. But she still remains talented and on point. And that was a fun game, too. I tried to catch some glimpses of that game against USC. But I think what it says, Phil, one, that's going to be a lot of fun, too. I think Iowa's got the upper hand in that one because of Caitlin Clark. I just always think that you have to look at them and say, how do you beat her? And I don't know if you can right now. But you look at the way that the game has grown just from the last 6 years and the talent, and you've got the freshman at USC and JJ Watson, I think is her name, right? And you've got Hannah Hidalgo at Notre Dame. And it's just really exciting to be a part of women's basketball and watch it because the competition level and the talent level is incredible.
Yeah, they just got to make sure that the basketball floor is mapped out properly.
My God.
One of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard, truthfully.
How does that happen? You know what I mean? Like, that's one of those things I remember, like, talking in class one time in college about, you make a sign that has a misprint, and all the people from the designer to the approver to where you had to send it to the person to print it, to the printer, to like how did it get all the way down the end of the line and that mistake just stayed there? Like, how does that happen?
Wait till you see the hash marks for the championship game next January. It's going to be crazy, crazy. Alyssa, we got to talk about this.
Propaganda.
It is must drama.
Yeah,
it is must drama now because now it's out in the open. What did you make? And it's not Hunter's video. That's just a podcast that he agreed to go on, and maybe he knew or maybe he didn't know that clip or a clip would come out a couple days before to preview it and get everybody talking about this podcast so that everybody downloads the thing tomorrow. But what'd you make of it?
Well, which one? The podcast or all of it? You want to start at the beginning?
Well, just go with what we saw in the video. Did that podcast get released yet? I thought it was coming out Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that clip threw a lot of people off a little bit. I guess what I'm saying is I wasn't surprised. And a lot of people in my office weren't surprised because it's what we've been hearing. And I tweeted that, we as journalists have people who we trust who tell us things. And that doesn't mean we go straight to social media and just put it out there. We have respect for those sources. I mean, you guys understand this, and we've got to make sure that we're checking our boxes. And when I'm hearing it, and Courtney is hearing it, and Kevin McPherson is hearing it, and we're all hearing it from different people, where there's smoke, there's fire. And so the idea of Muss not knowing that Hunter Yurachek was going to put that video out was something that we had heard immediately when he did last week. So he says that on the podcast. I also think he comes out and he just wants to be ahead of the game. And you can't blame Hunter for feeling like I need to be as open and honest as I can be with what I say. But understanding that, like, Muss is our coach right now. But as an AD, I'm well aware that he's looking at other jobs. So as of right now, he is our basketball coach, and we want him here. And I think that's the biggest thing that he said was we want him here, so that there is no question that he doesn't want to be here, that they don't want to have him here. And if he chooses to go somewhere else, it was his choice, and not that Arkansas didn't want him. And, sometimes you just kind of have to get ahead of things, regardless of how you feel things are going to go down. Now, what does the aftermath and all of this look like? It'll be really interesting to see. But I think it caught a lot of fans off guard because a lot of people, and I'm speaking just from what I'm reading on social media, did not believe some of the things that some people who have credible sources and ways of getting that information said, and tore them apart on social media for no reason, just because they didn't want to believe it. And now, I think there are a lot of apologies made to a lot of certain people who said this and were bashed on social media for those things that they said, because now they're true.
Okay, well, outside of that aspect of it and how everybody else is reacting, there's another person that's part of this, and I wonder what his reaction was, and that's Eric Musselman. Like, if he had no idea that this was coming out, and then the video comes out, and he's part of it, and it kind of confused a lot of people. If he obviously did not know this was coming out and it came out, I wonder what his reaction is.
I was told, and other people were told, that he wasn't happy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where else to take it, but it's just
that's
why it feels like drama. That's why.
And it's one of those things, and I think, a lot of people in their reactions, I saw one media person just be like, with everything else that's going on, I don't see how this is a good thing. And I think he made a really good point in that statement, because what are we getting at? I get both sides of this, but you worry what the aftermath is going to look like. And it's tough. And it's, Mike Irwin even said last week, when I kind of had to give him my thoughts, he was just like, I'm done. It's baseball season. I'm out. And I was like, you know what? I'll believe that Eric Musselman is the head coach when it's the first game of the 2024-25 season, he's on the sidelines. Like, that was exaggeration, but kind of that's where I am right now. It's exhausting. I think everyone's exhausted. So until we have a press conference, I don't really know what's going to happen, and I don't think a lot of people do.
Well, Alyssa, I want Coach Muss to be our coach, and if he's not, I know we'll find a good one. That's for sure. I think Coach Muss is a top 20 college basketball coach, 100%. I want him to be our coach, but his norm, if you look at his track record, if you just look at where he goes, he doesn't stay anywhere longer than 4 or 5 years. So doesn't it kind of make sense that? And he's kind of got that Lane Kiffin appeal to him. He's young, he's good looking, he's on social media, he's out there. Don't you think that there's a lot of suitors that would be out there for him? And if his agent's not doing his job right and talking to other people, then why have an agent?
I kind of felt the same way, where you just kind of have to look at his career and be like, well, he doesn't stay places for very long. And you knew that coming in. So I think you're absolutely right. It's not a surprise. it's not a surprise because we've hit that 5-year mark. And so if he stays, this is the longest place he's stayed at. And that has to hold some weight somewhere. When it comes to other jobs and what's happening in that realm, I don't feel comfortable really commenting on that because, again, I've heard a lot, but you just don't know. And I'm not really ready to say one way or the other. But you kind of know that this is the territory that we fall in. And we kind of fell into it last year, too. Like, we weren't really sure. And, then he came back, and we weren't really sure this year. And, we don't really know what's going to happen. And you just sometimes need to just let it play itself out. I didn't think it was going to be like this, though.
Got to let the blister, sort of paper over itself, I think is the way I'm looking at it. Alyssa, we'll leave it there, and I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Always appreciate you.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation with us every Tuesday here on Halftime. Eclipse Day is coming up on Monday. We've got a special halftime planned at 2 locations for the Party Place, which is your number 1 place for party supplies and the best place to be getting your Eclipse glasses. You got your Eclipse glasses yet, Matt? I need those. I got my son handed them to me yesterday, and I'd be a little nervous if I didn't have them.
Things don't work.
Probably not. Probably not. You might need some special ones. They got them over at the Party Place right now, including all sorts of electronics, fog machines, strobe lights, balloons, balloon creations, and anything you need for a party. Razorback fans, they got Razorback items, sports themes as well. Decorations for Cinco de Mayo coming up, graduation for July 4th, all at the Party Place. Matt will be there in the Fort Smith location on Rogers Avenue behind Ashley Furniture. I will be at the Conway location on Oak Street. That is this coming Monday, Eclipse Day, April the 8th. We will see you there. Stay with Halftime. We're back in just a moment.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
At Red River Dodge, not only do we have new vehicles, but we also have top quality pre-owned, all the way from your big rig trucks to your luxury class SUVs. Are you needing to trade in a used vehicle? That's no problem. Here at Red River Dodge, we give top dollar for your trade-in. Whatever it is you're needing, here at Red River Dodge, we have it. Give us a call today at 501-362-5831 or visit us on the web at redriverdodge.com. And don't forget, folks, we deliver.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
This is Halftime.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leaf-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PBS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts need, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? Come on over to Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer and a Cinnabogan authorized service provider. From excavators with the best-in-class breakout force to powerful skid steers, we'll be sure to find the right equipment for you. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
So judging by Bobby Petrino's comments on Taylon Green, you know who your number one quarterback is. We've had a sense about this for at least a few weeks now, if not a couple of months. But they're going to wait for the QB1 tweet. You know, everything goes along with an image now, right? You got to portray some sort of a Batman thing up there that says QB1 and put his face on it and everything. You're going to have to wait until the spring game, the spring scrimmage, whatever we call it, and then spring season be over, and then you can actually, have him kneel in front of Sam Pittman. He can take the sword and he can anoint him on both shoulders, QB1 of the Razorbacks.
Well, I just think it's good. It's good that they go out and you're looking for guys in the portal, and they went out and got their guy. So that's a good thing. I want to see how the offensive line handles just not even blitz, just man on man when you have your 5 offensive linemen in whatever defense they're going. But can you pick up your guy and take him one-on-one first? This just your very basic pass blocking, 3-step, 5-step, quick game. That's the main thing. We could not do that last year. The very basics of blocking. I mean, let's see, can we do that a little bit in the spring game? That's the main thing I want to see is how our offensive line, if we can't block anybody, everything else, it doesn't matter. And that was the deal with last year. We couldn't block anybody.
When you watch a football game, what's the first thing you're looking at?
Well, it's different with what you're looking at based on what I mean,
not as the quarterback. I just mean if you're watching to analyze something that you.
Well, when you warm up, you look at like when I went and watched Greenwood play Stillwater last year and sat in the stands and,
sure.
and watched and so you look at them warm up. You're like, oh, okay, this team's a little bigger. Greenwood didn't have any, and then they beat them the next year, but Stillwater looked like they could put 2 high school teams out there. So you want to look at how they warm up a little bit, but. you got to have some speed. You got to have some guys that scare you. Our offensive side last year, we didn't have anybody that they marked and said, "Oh, we're worried about him." It was it was one of the most pedestrian offenses I remember in Razorback history. And your best player, Rocket Sanders, couldn't go. You had your All-American tight end, who I think the freshman tight end. He could be an All-American. He's going to play on Sundays if he keeps going. He got hurt. Offensive couldn't block anybody. I mean, we couldn't block anybody.
Well, of all the sound clips to play for tomorrow, but apparently Petrino commenting on Luke Hasz, who is that All-America tight end you're talking about, Matt. He says, quote, "He's a special receiver, going to get open, make big plays for us, and he's a quarterback's best friend on third down in the red zone," unquote. He also continued talking about the progress of installing his offense. They've cut it back a little bit, at least a little bit. Not exactly what we want to be able to get done in the number of days we've had, but I think we just had to because it's new to everybody. And then he continues to comment about Taylon Green. Says he's different than everybody else. The TikTok video guys, Petrino says, that throw sidearm and do all of that. This dude is 6'6". All you got to do is get up over the top. He can complete anything. And then he continues to go to some of these quarterback gurus and all the drills they do, and everybody thinks they're coaching Mahomes, and he's not Mahomes. He needs to set, get over the top, and throw the ball. And when he does that, he's going to get his percentage up.
Basics. That's exactly right. I had an old coach say, you use two hands until you make your first Pro Bowl. And so when you're in college, you're not trying to showboat. You're learning the basics, and that's one of the things. Coach Petrino, Phil, you look at his resume, just like we were talking about how Coach Muss, that he doesn't stay places very long. Look at the quarterbacks Coach Petrino's coached, and that he's been around in the film room, and how good they continue to have success. So I think your boy from Boise State's in Green. He's in a good spot getting coached by Petrino.
Absolutely is. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McLarty Daniel hotline. The dude is 6'6". You felt playing quarterback you had an advantage at that height, Matt. I mean, you just have an opportunity to see everything a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know if you can be too tall. The bigger, stronger athlete. You're looking at American sports. It's just how it goes. You're talking about quarterbacks. There is a Kyler Murray. There is a Bryce Young. There are people that like quarterbacks like that. I like my quarterbacks to be built like Ben Roethlisberger, like Andrew Luck, Eli Manning.
Take a bunch of hits because they're coming.
Like Taylon Green, like Jacoby Criswell, like KJ Jefferson. I like how I like the bigger, stronger kid. And it's just you keep weighing. I mean, if you're a bigger athlete, it's a contact sport. You got to be a certain size, I think, just to have that longevity. I mean, you think of Eli Manning. You don't think of an athlete in mobility, but he had enough. But he had the body type. That's why he was able to play so many straight games without an injury. Same thing with Big Ben.
The guy who changed the way that I viewed what a quarterback can be if you're tall was Randall Cunningham. 6'4" and such an amazing runner. And he's a really good passer too. Better runner, I think. And I think you changed a lot of people's ideas about that in college as well, Matt. But I always I was looking back. The tallest quarterback in the history of the NFL was Dan McGuire. There's Mark McGuire's brother. I think, did he play at Washington State and then was drafted in the first round by Seattle? And that dude could not move. He wasn't just a pocket passer. He had an anvil, basically latched onto his foot. He could not move. But I'm sure he could take a hit. It's just he had no way to get away from anybody.
Same with you think of a guy that Taylon Green has a little athletic ability, but another guy Coach Petrino had, Ryan Mallett. He was a 5 flat, same as Tom Brady. He wasn't setting any records on fire running the 40. But he was a big, strong kid, and you want to know somebody who could make every single throw. Ryan Mallett could make every single throw. No question about it.
Like that can control the pocket too. I mean, just utilize whatever space they've got in there, and use your size. The thing with Green is it's just 6'6", and everybody's talking about him just being lightning fast, along with having a hose for an arm. But I guess a little bit of the question is, can he be accurate, or can that percentage be up? I think I heard Tom Murphy this morning talk on the Morning Rush about he was at the scrimmage this past week. He thought it was a little less than 50%. I mean, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. It's the first scrimmage. But I also think it's interesting how Petrino is saying, all these quarterbacks. I love that he says the TikTok video guys. So you can see he's at least spending some time. He sees the TikTok video quarterbacks, and they do all these drills, and they want to act like they're coaching Mahomes. And there's only one that can really, I think, play like that. Taylor Green, he's like you're talking, Matt. He's just talking about fundamentals, staying on top of the ball, using your size, and not worried about being anything but that for now.
Yeah, and be a short strider. Don't overstride. That was one of the things KJ struggled with his intermediate passing. That's one of the things Coach David Lee worked on. He was really big on having a short first step, and it helps with your accuracy. It 100% does. He used to put a cinder block up, and it was almost like the Kill Bill thing where you're trying to punch somebody from 6 inches away. And so you have your foot about 6 inches from the cinder block. So if you overstride, you're going to stub your toe on. So it's a great teaching tool, and that's something that hopefully I haven't seen him play enough, but you have to. And if you want to make those 17 to 24 yard throws that are on those level 2 lines, not the over the top, you have to be a short strider.
Calls and texts come to halftime on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. We'll wrap up the second hour right after this.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Harry Robinson Salisal Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
Insurance company throwing you a curveball? Are they crowding the plate and not offering you a fair settlement? If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need an experienced attorney to fight for you. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Licensed in Arkansas and Oklahoma, no win, no fee. Call Mock Legal Solutions today for your free consultation. 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
Need new roof? Shamrock Roofing and Construction can have you covered right now for as low as $139.99 with approved credit. For quality and peace of mind, one call does it all. Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Call 479-319-5100. Supply issues are no issue at Shamrock Roofing and Construction. As one of America's largest roofing companies, we stocked up early and we stocked up big. We can do your job right now. And because we paid less for our material, we can share those savings with you. Call today or visit us at shamrockroofer.com.
Barrels and Brews Bottle Shop at the Hub and Chaffee Crossing has everything you need for your favorite activities. Our knowledgeable staff will be glad to help you with the current specials and our new arrivals of must-have bourbons and whiskeys. Hit the cooler for some of the coldest beer in town, or choose from our large selection of amazing wines. Order online or call ahead Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. at the Hub in Chaffee Crossing. Barrels and Brews, voted best of the best in Fort Smith. It will put a smile on your face.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop.
Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, this is Matt Jones with the Halftime Show, and I will be broadcasting live from the Party Place in Fort Smith on April 8th, or better known as Eclipse Day, from 11 to 2. Halftime will be at their new location at 7810 Rogers Avenue behind Ashley Furniture. It's going to be a Party Place celebration with fun things to do and, of course, giveaways. It's the Halftime Show at the Party Place on Monday, April 8th.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
She took my heart, left me for dead, and drank my blood to me. She said, I see it's worth its weight in gold. That fire we had was turning cold. Come
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
All right, C Unit, it's time to figure out what it is you're going to be watching this coming weekend after watching Almost Famous and loving it, as of course everybody does. There's got to be another movie that's got a great soundtrack that we can get you attracted to. I was kind of like thinking about some of those teenage angst movies that I grew up with, like Breakfast Club or Say Anything, things like that. You've seen which one of those have you seen?
I've seen Breakfast Club, but man, when I think of good soundtracks on a movie, Breakfast Club is what comes to mind.
Near the top of the list.
Yeah.
Say Anything's got a really good one too. Matt, what about a 90s teenage angst movie?
Let's see. 10 Things I Hate About You could be on there. I was thinking Hackers, but I don't know if it has enough angst, but they're in high school. So Varsity Blues, any movie where high school. As far as soundtrack, the movie Drive, with Ryan Gosling. Oh my goodness, that there's a lot of actors in that. There's a good cast. Walter White's in there. I can't think of his name. Yeah. He's in that one. But that soundtrack in that one's dynamite.
I feel like you could also maybe go with Heathers. You ever see Heather? Kristen Slater, Winona Ryder. That's as dark of a teenage angst movie as it gets.
Is Fear set in high school with Reese Witherspoon and Mark Wahlberg? Are they high school kids then too? Because that's pretty wild.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Wild Things. Ooh,
there you
Kevin
go.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Nev Campbell.
The Wallflowers. Matt Dillon.
We've got some ideas there. Woo Pig Stevens still thinks Donnie Darko. Like
Best soundtrack right there. Donnie
Darko. Could that
classify
as teenage angst?
They're in high school.
Sure.
Yeah, it's Seth Rogen's first ever movie. I know a lot of Seth Rogen fans. Jenna Malone, Drew Barrymore, Maggie and Jake Gyllenhaal, Patrick Swayze.
All right.
Best soundtrack is as far as top 10 movies with soundtracks. Donnie Darko's on there. That soundtrack is it bumps.
Let's go to the McClarty Daniel hotline. Williams in Philadelphia. Now, is that Philadelphia, PA, or Mississippi?
PA.
All right, other side of the state from where I'm from. What's going on, William?
That's good. I wish the Phillies were as good as your Pirates right now, but
let's
see what happens.
Let's
with
talk
that.
in June, okay?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We look pretty bad to start the season. What do you think the ceiling is for this football team this fall?
I mean, that's a pretty succinct question about a team that right now I don't even know if we know the full makeup of it, because I still think there's going to be changes on the roster from the next portal session. But what's the ceiling? What's the ceiling? Thinking 8 wins?
I think that's a great number. Troy Aikman's a good number.
Does that sound about right, William?
Yeah, that's more than I had. I had it at like 6 though.
Well, if we're thinking ceiling, I think if we're thinking ceiling would probably be something. I don't know if I'd go 6 as a ceiling. I hope that's not a ceiling. Not a ceiling that I'd want to be involved with. But I appreciate the phone call, William. And there apparently are Razorback fans in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that aren't just rooting for Jared Sprague-Lott, the Razorback third baseman who's from Philadelphia.
Reality Bites was another. Ethan Hawke.
Another Winona. Notice how many of these movies Winona Ryder's in. Beetlejuice, that's got a little bit of teenage angst in it, just a little bit. I hear there's a new one coming out. Stay with us. Hour number 3 of Halftime coming up. We'll have Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio in 20 minutes. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where it's spring cleaning time. The lot is blooming with fresh road-ready certified inventory and weekly specials that could save you up to $4,000. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade today and save up to $4,000 during spring cleaning at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will be in and out of the clouds across the north. Temperatures will fall through the mid-50s. We should see sunshine south. Temperatures will fall from 70 into the middle 60s. Now we're looking at a decrease in the cloud cover tonight. Overnight lows in the low 40s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grant Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris, Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that would respect you.
Smith, I'm all right. Well, can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're going to go get one.
and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What's able one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back. We get into our third hour of halftime. Cloudy, overcast, potentially rainy on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. For those who are a little worried about baseball later tonight, they're not canceling this game. Might be cold, but it's not going to rain. And we have most certainly had colder temperatures for first pitch than whatever it's going to be tonight. Probably be in the 40s. So I don't know what kind of a crowd they'll get. But I think it's cool to watch Arkansas against Arkansas State. Just make sure you take them down. This can't be losing to A-State. Already beat Little Rock 11-0. Took care of UCA. That was actually a tight game, 9-7. They get UAPB in North Little Rock. And then this one for the in-state schools. By the way, I heard from the Swatters Club yesterday, the UAPB game at Dickey-Stevens Park will be televised. You heard that right.
What do you have to download? You have to download some.
I don't know if you got to download anything. I think it's going to actually be on a
one Star Entertainment.
I was going to some sort of a weird podcast no one's heard of before. See where you went. I don't know if it's going to be over the air or what network or what. It might be on SEC Plus. Facebook Live, yes. Flow Sports is carrying the Razorback.
There you go.
Nah, that's not happening. It's actually, I think it's just on SEC Plus. They'll be carrying it. So lucky all of us. And that's later on this month. We're like halfway through the baseball season, the regular season for college baseball.
Man, it goes by quick, doesn't it?
Does.
Wow.
Well, it's because we feel like that for two reasons. One, we always feel like that. Like every time you get to July or August, everybody's always like, I can't believe it's July or August. That happened really quickly. Well, it happened maybe only slightly faster than it did the year before. I think that's one reason why. The other reason is we've got our heads in basketball for pretty much the first 7 weeks of the college baseball season.
That's true, because basketball, you don't even get to conference until football's over.
Yes.
And in baseball, they're already going. Yeah. Well,
there's talk maybe of pushing the season back, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think the NCAA's got a few other things that they're worried about, like, existing. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. And Brian is there. What's up, Brian? How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Doing all right, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I hadn't heard from y'all in a couple of days, but what's the word on Musselman? Is there any word if he's staying and going? And then I have a comment on that.
What do you mean you didn't hear from us? We're the ones that were supposed to hear from you. We're on this station every single day that you're tuned into. We didn't hear from you since Friday. Where you been?
Yeah, I've been kind of tied up busy, but gave you a break anyways. I'm just wondering, is Musselman staying or going?
I guess that's kind of the point of this video that Yurachek put out yesterday.
I have no sources, don't know. I think he'll be the head basketball coach for at least one more year.
I would agree with you, and I don't know if I'm willing to go any farther than one more year.
I think it's a total 1 year at a time deal.
I feel like the video might make, or at least, Hunter being public about this might at least introduce
cushion a little bit, soften.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It just feels awkward, Brian. But I do think he's going to be the coach for next year. But honestly, like I could say the same thing about almost any coach. Who knows if you're around for more? Your contract says one thing, but most people are one really bad season away from getting let go.
Yeah, I just want to say a comment on that video. I mean, it came out that Musselman had no clue about that video, that AD put it out without his knowledge. So my comment on that is, if you have a coach that has not committed one way or the other, he's possibly looking at other jobs is why he's not saying anything. in my opinion, was it the players that was the problem, or was it the coach that didn't really coach that team up because he's looking to leave him? And why would you want a coach that's non-committal to whether he's going to stay or go? I'll just hang up and listen.
Sure. Now, I don't know how you can coach going after other jobs during a season because there aren't other jobs open yet. The jobs don't usually open until the season is over. And so at that point, the focus might turn a little bit. So I don't buy that he was looking for another job while he was coaching Arkansas.
That doesn't do him any favors either.
But he's also responsible for the players that were there. So I mean, you caught on pretty quickly, Matt. It just wasn't the most athletic team. Didn't have enough size really around the perimeter and in other spots too. And I don't think it was coaching.
He had 4 NBA guys in that last team, and we didn't get better at any position. Anthony Black's position didn't get better. Jordan Walsh, whoever was stepping in for these guys that went on to the next level. And I wonder, man, I really wonder what those 4 kids right now, and I wish them all the success, obviously, 100%. But it's like, everybody has this mindset. I'm a one and done. I have to, and you have this ability to make so much six figures plus at this college level. Anthony Black, Jordan Walsh, Ricky Council, Nick Smith, they're not playing a lot of minutes right now. They're not playing. Do you think they would have wanted to stay and say, hey, man, we go one more year? That's a group. Those 4 right there, that's a group that could have made a run to a Final Four.
Well, Black couldn't have said no, right?
That's what I'm saying, but he's not playing.
Sure.
My whole thing is the NBA is so weird where they take these kids, and I think you should go to the 3-year and done. If you want to go out of your high school and go to the professionals, then let's do it. But baseball and football have that rule where you got to be 3 years removed from high school. I think basketball should do that as well because the kids would be ready. I mean, you're thinking about the rookies from this last year's class, and NBA's pick it up, man. It's getting going. Watching Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, seeing what Milwaukee's they've rode the ship a little. I still think it's Boston and Denver. But these kids, man, it takes them a couple years before they're undersized. The skill set's not there. Because they haven't put in the time as a full-time professional basketball player. They've been a student. They've played other sports that you just need a couple more years.
Well, it's like what Petrino said about Taylor Green and the other TikTok quarterbacks, that are trying to do the things that Mahomes does. Be like, hold on a second. There's only one of those people. We need to focus on what it is that you can do to get you to be a good quarterback here where you are. Everybody. I can't say everybody, but all the great high school basketball players, if they're getting a Division I offer from a certain school or whatever, they all view themselves as one and done. That they're all headed to the league at some point, and it turns into a pretty hard lesson at some point. It ain't going to happen to everybody. There's just only it's a really small percentage of players that have been successful that have been a one and done. Anyway, and then there's the idea of what Brian is asking of, is Muss going to be the coach next year, and the video that Hunter has out there and putting it out in the open, and it just, I don't know. To me, it feels like they're, if you have had that conversation amongst the two of them, and I don't think they have, then why does it end up out in the open?
I'm not very hip. I don't really have social media or TikTok and all this stuff. But it didn't make any sense to me when you hear that little snippet. And so maybe you need the thing in its entirety. Maybe it makes more sense. But it just seemed like he was talking in circles, and there wasn't a lot of. It was just a lot of nonsense. It's like what do you? So he doesn't have a contract extension, but so how long is his contract for? Does he still not have a contract for 4 years, 3 years, 2 years? Is it just a 1 year deal?
Like I said, I think it's always a 1 year deal. and Joe says, I think a salient point here that maybe he's reading the room and he's not posting very much. I think that's true. Look, coaches that are part of teams that are not being very successful are normally fairly silent on social media. When there's a lot to, brag about, and maybe that's the right term, or celebrate, you're going to do that. When there isn't a lot to brag about or celebrate, yeah, be a little quieter about that thing. I think that goes a long way of maybe why it's been a very quiet Twitter account. Yeah, I think he is signed for at least another couple years.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what you mean.
So he's the coach now, but where's the open job that is necessary? USC right now is the only one that I would think. The only one that I would think, and I'm still not even convinced of it. And the only way I think that maybe that's a place is because of the geography.
Man, I'd rather be the head basketball coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks than the USC Trojans. That's man, yeah, I just don't see that as unless you're talking about location, unless you're talking about NIL, and there could be some other factors going into it. But I think that Arkansas Razorback basketball job's a better job, unless you told me at USC they get $2 million and Arkansas gets $500,000 to spend on players. Unless you're telling me something like that.
Stay tuned. We're going to be talking with Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio in just a moment. This is Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
I love Arkansas. I love everything.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
The tournament is here. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contests out there and odds, lines, and info on every game and every round right up to the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering information anytime from your desktop or your mobile device and even track your bracket real-time all the way through the tournament. Head to BetOnline today and get in on all the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Guests join Halftime on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. We have Bill King, the king of college football talk, hosting on WNSR in Nashville from 6 to 9, Monday through Friday. Bill, happy April. How are you doing?
Hey, guys. Doing good.
Good, man. I'm sure kind of odd watching Alabama now in a Final Four, isn't it? Basketball school, now that they haven't won a national championship in football in, 4 years?
That's what you get when you make the right hire. That's exactly how that works. That's hard to make the right hire, but Nate Oates is arguably the best coach in the league. I don't think it's Coach Cal anymore, or Bruce Pearl, one of those two. I would suggest, but yeah. And now, guys, I'm a '70s and '80s guy, so I go back to CM Newton teams when he had Reggie the Mule King and Leon Douglas. I'm talking about absolute beast that went on to play. T.R. Dunn went on to play in the NBA. Alabama basketball from the 1970s forward, guys, other than Kentucky, maybe Tennessee, the most consistent program in the SEC.
Yeah, I think Robert Ory, Latrell Sprewell, Mo Williams.
Yeah.
I think some of those guys. Hey,
Buck Johnson.
Yeah. Hey, I want to ask you a little bit about. We had some news with spring ball in Arkansas, and you know the Razorbacks. They had a target in Taylon Green. They went and got him, and it looks like he's going to win that starting job. And we just had a caller, calling asking what the ceiling is for this Razorback team. Would I be going out too far saying 8 wins? What do you think? And what do you want to see maybe as an Arkansan in this spring game that's going to happen next Saturday?
Let's say I'm walking down the sidewalk and one of the football gods appears in front of me. And he says, Bill, I've got a deal for you. You can agree to 8 wins for Arkansas or take your chances. I'd take 8 in a tenth of a second. That's going to be difficult. It's a tough. The league's even tougher. Arkansas has had some personnel deficiencies. I think that can get better, but what does that mean on the scoreboard? That's the question mark. I would take 8 without the second word coming out of their mouth.
There's the feeling, I think, for the most optimistic of Razorback fans that Bobby Petrino is good for a couple of wins. as a schemer, as a coordinator, as a quarterbacks coach, and that was an aspect that was missing from last year's team. Now we understand. I think the tackles have gotten better from everything we've heard. There are going to be 3 changes on that offensive line from starters from last year, and you got a quarterback who seems to be a pretty dynamic athlete. Can Bobby Petrino be good for a couple of wins just as an offensive coordinator?
I think that's a fairly conservative estimate. I do. I'm a Bob Petrino fan as a on-the-field coach. I'm not much a fan otherwise. But he's a heck of an offensive mind. I mean, I think he's an A-lister, and I do think that he would make a difference. He could make a difference in 2 games.
That's what I think. I think when it gets down to making some of the decisions that maybe we had to call a timeout on, maybe we didn't kick a field goal when we should have. Red zone's going to be better. I think those games, Bill, that we're expected to win, that we're going to go ahead and win those games. And then we all know Arkansas, we find a way. I mean, we went down there to Florida last year, had no business. Now Florida kind of gave it to us, but had no business winning that game. We didn't have an OC, went down there, and they find a way to beat somebody each year.
Right. I think, guys, from his time with Tuberville back at Auburn to now, he is a brilliant offensive mind. And I used to say, when I did my Sirius XM show for 10 years, I used to say he could walk by and see a puddle of rocks and get 400 yards, get 250 passing yards and 150 rushing yards out of it. No doubt about that, guys. I think that's an excellent hire.
Well, he earlier today, basically all but said Taylor Green is the starting quarterback next year. They're just waiting for the end of spring ball. Is there a school in the SEC right now that's top of mind for you that's just really unsettled at quarterback that might just struggle because of what they've got at spring, or that might be looking for a quarterback in the next time the portal opens? Because it will open soon, and I mean, it'd be naive to think that there aren't going to be at least some good quarterbacks that are there.
I would say maybe Mississippi State and maybe Auburn. I think Auburn's got talent. Not sure how it's going to who's going to get the ball and be consistent with it. Maybe those 2. Tennessee obviously thinks they have maybe a first pick in the draft kind of guy in Nico Iamaleava, and Kentucky's got the Georgia transfer who's going to take the ball immediately and I think be really, really good. Vanderbilt's a little iffy at quarterback.
What's LSU's
They've been
situation?
losing them to transfers.
What's LSU's situation at quarterback?
Their quarterback is Garrett Nussmeier, who's
been around a while.
Remember when Daniels got hurt 2 years ago in the SEC championship game? Nussmeier came in and threw for 350 yards against Georgia. Mm-hmm. He's a really good quarterback. Now, he's not the dynamic presence that Daniels is, and that's probably not even fair to bring that up. But he's a winning quarterback. He's a good quarterback. They can't be as good because Daniels was such a ridiculous dual threat. But I don't think the offense is going to struggle. LSU's problem is literally, guys, they don't know if they have any defensive linemen, and I don't know what's going to pop up here in the next week and a half in the portal. But they've got to patch up their defensive front. They're in big trouble there.
I always think if with LSU without D linemen is like Florida without a quarterback. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Hey, Bill, Rocket, Sanders, and Junkins, who all conference, all American type guys, both on new teams. Who, if I had Bill King's first team and second team, who are your first and second team running backs coming back in the SEC?
Oh boy, let me think that out.
You think Georgia, you think Alabama having running backs, even Arkansas. I think Rocket has a decent year going back. I think he'll be comfortable at South Carolina. But with Junkins leaving, it's wide open. Who's one?
Probably now he got in trouble about a week and a half ago, but probably Trevor Etienne at Georgia, transfer from Florida. He's good. He's an all-league player. I'd say Dylan Sampson at Tennessee is that kind of player. He's an all-league kind of guy. Alabama is a committee team right now. LSU is pretty much a committee team right now at running back. They're good there. And but you're not going to replace Quinshon Junkins. They'll be solid there, but That's a 2-star running back. That probably is the best running back in America.
Wow. Hey, what was the situation with ATN? I saw he was pulled over. It was a DUI, but he was under the limit. So I don't understand Georgia laws, but I think the policeman was following.
That's like the
this
13th
law.
Georgia one, though, in the last 3 years.
Yeah, but it was a DUI for being under the limit, though. It's kind of odd. I had not heard of that.
Yeah, I think the bigger issue for the Georgia program and Kirby Smart is the totality of the news, right? The drip of driving incidents. And obviously there was a death a while back. And that is irritating the heck out of Kirby Smart. I mean, it really is. I know, remember about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, when Carson Beck put a picture out of him with his Lamborghini that he had just bought. And he's got a car collection, and good for him. He's made that kind of money. I know people that were at a Georgia function with coaches that night, and they were not pleased with that. They just want all that to go away. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but the totality of these incidents is really kicking Kirby Smart off.
Yeah, so where Warren Sapp is joining Dion at Colorado as a grad assistant. Like, they've got to have a channel just dedicated to Warren Sapp, because I know they've got all kinds of social media channels for Dion and everything going on at Colorado football. One needs to be dedicated to Sapp. Colorado.
I don't even.
Go ahead.
Is it going to work with the D tackles? I barely saw the story. That doesn't move the needle though, other than it's a big name.
That's exactly right. And Dion did a lot of needle moving last year with just 4 wins. This to me kind of fits into that. So are they going to be any better? I don't really know the situation on the roster. I just know he apparently doesn't really recruit much at all unless it's the portal.
He won't go on the road much. Can you imagine the best cornerback who's ever been on the earth, and he's from Fort Myers, Florida, going high school to high school in that state? What kind of impact he could have recruiting? I do not get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I guess you would expect if you join a college football team as a head coach, you're going to be recruiting and going out, supposed to connect with everybody. Bill, real quick on SEC baseball, Hogs 8-1 in the SEC, Kentucky being 8-1. Now that's one that I'm not sure if I saw coming.
They've won 2 series on the road too.
Yeah,
now they've been a good program, as you know. You broadcast the games. You never consider them Arkansas or LSU or Florida or now what Tennessee's risen to. But they're a heck of a team. I don't know the personnel really well, but they're a problem. And that is definitely the surprise team today.
Well, the Hogs will be out there the weekend of the Kentucky Derby at Kentucky. Should be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Bill, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you hopping on. Thanks so much, and enjoy the Final Four, okay?
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio. We get him each Tuesday here on Halftime. Make sure before the men's Final Four starts that you get back to hitthatline.com and put in your picks for the Final Four at the Bracket Challenge, presented by On the Mark Sports Bar and Grill in Fayetteville, 810 Billiards and Bowling in Fort Smith, and Shelter Insurance agent Chris Dooley. That's at hitthatline.com. You see Bracket Challenge top of the page. Just get your picks back in there for the Final Four, and we do have special prizes for those who win the overall bracket and for the Final Four. Our numbers at halftime on the McLarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. We'll have more in just a few minutes.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Discover your dream pool at Burton Pools and Spas. Dive into our massive outdoor pool showroom, one of the largest in the nation. Conveniently situated off I-49 in Springdale, the Burton Pools and Spas showroom features 10 stunning in-ground pool installations, 8 distinct fiberglass pool models, discounts up to $12,000. Visualize your backyard oasis before making your commitment and get ready for a splashing summer. At Burton, we don't just build swimming pools, we build long-term relationships.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Tommy Craft for the Fitzman. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fitzman. 479-782-3936. The Fitzman does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fitzman. 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call your local Shelter agent, Chris Dooley, at 479-646-6792.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh-made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
It's the time of the season. Love runs high. In this time, give it to me easy. And let me try with pleasured hands. Take you in the sun. From this land to show you everyone season for love.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Back on halftime as we get into the home stretch here. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. You know, Matt, and you know, this has been the overarching theme of the show. The whole deal with Eric Musselman, is he going to be the coach? I know people might be a little tired of this, but if this does happen with USC, I imagine it happens very quickly, because the job just came open. I don't think anybody wants a job to be open very long. It's only been a day or so, or 2 days. So, I mean, it's obviously something that could happen very, very quickly if it does. So, I mean, people might be a little tired of talking about it. I am myself. I want to move over to baseball, but this is a legitimate situation. I think the video from Hunter Yurachek yesterday just kind of illustrates that as well. If there wasn't any smoke from the rumors, I don't think he would have put that out there. So who knows? Who knows what the next few days will be like? But if something does happen, it's going to happen fast.
I think a lot was said when the AD said he's our coach today, but you can ask him tomorrow.
He knows full well.
So I think
there can't be any coincidence that this podcast and this opinion becomes public just a day after or 2 days after, however long it was, that SMU hires Andy Enfield away from USC. And now you see it. Like, I didn't believe anything about Louisville. I didn't believe anything about SMU as far as Muss was concerned. And there were no other jobs that I think are anywhere remotely attractive or that can pay you the same that Arkansas does. USC is different. Now, I think it's different getting with the academic standards there and how to get players into the program. But if they want the coach, they'll find a way around some of that stuff.
I saw something. Sean Miller might have been a name out there. Musselman's name came up. Jamie Dixon, Jason Hart. There's a couple names that were going in there, but Musselman's name's right there on it, talking about he's a California guy. He's coached out there. Mark Pope is another one. As far as Leon Rice, there was like 10 coaches they said that kind of come top to mind, and Musselman was number 6 on the list.
Well, just look, I mean, I know USC basketball is viewed in a much different light than football, and for very, very good reasons, but they hired a sitting head coach at a blue blood football program right away from them at a moment's notice. So, I mean, it'd be naive to think that it couldn't happen at Arkansas. Will they get a chance to match the offer? Probably so, but
it'll be a bidding war.
Well,
after that.
Turn into a bidding war, but is that really what it's about at that point?
No.
That's what I wonder, too. And
CBS Sports, the first name, it's Eric Musselman and Buzz Williams. Those are the first 2 names that come up.
And Buzz Williams.
So that's SEC guys. I think those are 2. If you're USC, do you not call those guys?
Yes.
I have 100%. If Eric Musselman, if he's available, I 100% want to hire Eric Musselman.
It's just called due diligence.
Absolutely.
I would do the same thing if I were the head coach in a number of other places. Look, and those that say, well, look, you had a bad year this last year. This was the one bad year out of 8 years as a college basketball coach. So I think I would imagine, if I'm an athletics director, I'd be like, all right, we'll throw out the best year, throw out the worst year. Let's see what we've got. You got a really good record at that point. And a guy that knows how to build a team together. And honestly, would fit into Los Angeles in a sense. Now, I wonder about USC basketball, and maybe this is unfair to view it in the same way that maybe I do with SMU athletics. 15th on the list in the DFW Metroplex for whatever's going on there. USC in Los Angeles, I mean, look, that's a pro sports town. Now, NFL, yeah, I mean, I think there's one of the teams that they really get into, but Dodgers, Lakers, Clippers, Angels, Trojan football will always dwarf anything going on with basketball. But if you're making a move to the Big Ten, you're trying to do something big. And I think hiring Eric Musselman is big, would be very big.
The conference change is definitely, something that have to be navigated, which I think Coach Musselman will be fine there. The biggest name in USC basketball is LeBron James's son right now. So he's a 6th type of man that they're talking about, wants to play with his pops. But Bronny James, he's still on the USC roster, so that would be an interesting dynamic.
They just lost their top recruit because Enfield is taking the SMU job, but that's not a surprise at all. It's just kind of the way that it would work.
You wonder if that kid from Massachusetts, if he goes, because it has a little bit of a feel like the Washington coach that got the quarterback from Mississippi State. Then he goes to Alabama, and that quarterback ended up staying up there at Washington.
That's right.
So I wonder how much of that has to go into it.
I don't think Cohen has signed anything, so it's just a verbal commitment. Essentially, that can change. So then, just to play devil's advocate about these conversations that he might have as he speaks to players in the portal, then they might ask the question, are you going to still be the coach at Arkansas if I commit here? What if the answer is no, maybe not, and wherever I go, you can come play for me there?
It'd be interesting, if you're using it as a stepping stone to get a raise, if you're using it to get more NIL money, the California the taxes you're going to pay in California to live in. You couldn't pay me enough money to go live in California or to live in Northwest Arkansas. But when you're a coach, you're not really living in the world. You're doing your first class, everything else. So you're living totally.
You get to live in a bubble.
That's what I'm saying, right?
I think as the men's basketball coach at USC, even with the crazy price of living in Southern California, I think you're still going to be doing okay. Yeah. I think you're still going to be doing just fine.
Absolutely. He'll be fine. It's just, I don't know. That just doesn't seem like I mean, if you had the chance to be the coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks SEC basketball or USC Trojan basketball going to the Big Ten, it just unless you're telling me unless you're telling me I'm getting double the NIL money. That's the only way I do it. If I'm getting double NIL money, that way I have better players. Because I'll tell you one thing Coach Musselman is really great at, that he's first class at, and that's evaluating talent. I mean, you look at wherever he goes and the talent. I mean, he doesn't miss on a lot of guys. This year was the outlier. But then we don't have all the facts. Did he have enough money? You have Grant Nelson right there in campus in your office, and you let him walk out the door. So there's not enough transparency that I can make a valid opinion.
Well, I can't imagine that was a decision of that was Nelson's decision to take whatever the best offer he might have had. Is that on the coach for not being able to land him because maybe you didn't have the funds to compete with in Alabama in that case for that specific player?
You watch basketball, and it's the story as old as time. If you have the best player in the basketball floor, it's not like baseball where your best hitter hits one every 9 times and you got to wait again. It's not like football where your best player doesn't even play defense or doesn't even play offense. The best basketball player, if you get them, they control the whole game. You're playing offense, you're playing defense. The ball's running through your head. So it's just a different aspect that you have to have talent on your team. You have to have a couple guys that are some dudes.
I also wonder about this, the verbiage that Hunter used on this podcast. And he says he's still our coach, refers to being getting a couple of extensions worth 6 figures, that he's compensated well as one of the top 15 highest paid coaches in the country. With that statement and then the USC job being open, it's almost like I'm hearing, this is what you make here. If you can find something better, go ahead and find it. That also goes along with he's still our coach today. You'd have to ask him. That goes along with that. It's almost like if they're gonna offer you something else and it's more, then fine, you can go ahead and take it.
Well, you wonder how the relationship is. He like you said, you look at his record where he goes, he wins. Yeah, I think he has a little of that Jim Harbaugh to him, where he kind of goes. He might rub some people the wrong way, but wherever he goes, he wins, and that's one thing Coach Musselman does. Every stop Musselman goes to, he's a winner.
You remember a couple of years ago, part of what we would converse about right now would be like, hey, wouldn't it just be great to be Hunter Yurachek? 2 years ago, you're coming off of an Outback Bowl win, nine victories, Elite Eight, and everybody is crowing about how great the coaches are on the Hill at the University of Arkansas. And now it's 2 years later, more than half of everybody wanted Pittman fired. And now there's this, and now there is this. And it's like, well, are we saying the same thing? Wouldn't it be great to be Hunter Yurachek? But it's like, this is when the job is really difficult. When you've made the hires and they've had their great seasons, we can just bask in it. It's a little different running an athletics department then, right? Now, 2 years later, it's like management time. And it feels like a different job, doesn't it, than it did 2 years ago. And that's not a judgment value on it either. I think that's just a fact. I think that's just part of being an athletics director. When you look like you're having the greatest time on earth and life is a party, 2 years later, it's like everybody's like, what are we doing here now? Boy, times change, don't they?
You got to evaluate talent. You got to get the right kids in the locker room. We just talked about this Arkansas offense lack thereof last year and kids that could go. Same thing with this basketball team. I mean, there was our NBA guy was hurt all year, kind of playing, out of position a little bit. And then you got a collective of a group of guys that can do a couple things good, but they can't do a lot of things good. They have some very high skill set. I mean, Khalif Battle can drop 30 on anybody's head. I think Tremont Mark's our best two-way player right now. He's a guy going forward. Khalif Battle's a guy that he's somebody you could build around. These are guys that have to get better, no question about it.
I also wonder if the coach changes, well, then everybody's gone at that point, I would imagine. Now you're starting from ground zero. All right, we'll break in a moment. Hey, you got Arkansas baseball against Arkansas State today, 5:30 airtime, 6 o'clock is first pitch. It'll be televised on SEC+. Got odds on that game and any other game going on in the world of sports on Bet Saracen. With the women's Final Four coming up, men's Final Four as well, and all the best odds on Major League Baseball games, including prop bets. And, man, you got to get the parlays out there. It's all on Bet Saracen. Works on your Apple iPhone. Just download from the App Store, or Android users using Google Play. All the web browsers work as well. Just type it in at betsaracen.com. And stay with Halftime. We'll wrap things up in just a moment.
This is Halftime.
Hi, this is Garen Armstrong with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. That small roofing company my father started 45 years ago has now become one of the largest roofing companies in America by following one rule, the golden rule. No one can install a better roof at a better price, a better warranty than Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Let our local family serve your family. Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Call today or visit us online at shamrockroofer.com.
Spring is just around the corner, and Jelco Outdoors is ready with all of your spring fishing gear. Crappie, bass, catfish, Jelco has a great selection of rods, reels, and baits to help you fill that stringer. Spring turkey supplies are rolling in daily, and the firearms department is stocked up with ammo for outdoor shooting. Spring is almost here, so get outdoors and enjoy the spring season. Stop by Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, for all your outdoor gear. Think spring, think Jelco Outdoors.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
The University of Arkansas will host the National Collegiate Women's Gymnastics Regional Championships inside Bud Walton Arena April 3rd through April 6th. 8 NCAA women's gymnastics teams, including the Arkansas Razorbacks, will compete with the top 2 earning berths to the NCAA Gymnastics National Championships. Get your tickets now by visiting ncaa.com/WGymnastics. That's ncaa.com/WGymnastics.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com. Looking for a change? For a limited time, we're offering up to a $15,000 hiring bonus and a $3,000 referral bonus for maintenance techs, including electricians and refrigeration techs. Ask a friend who works at Simmons for more information, and you can both win. Simmons offers vacation matching, a 401k plan, and premium health care for team members and their families through our care clinics at no additional cost. Learn more at workatsimmons.com or stop by the Fort Smith City Hiring Center at 4900 Rogers Avenue, Suite 103 in Fort Smith. Find out more about the $15,000 hiring bonus and start getting paid sooner with same-day hiring options. We look forward to seeing you.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where it's spring cleaning time. The lot is blooming with fresh road-ready certified inventory and weekly specials that could save you up to $4,000. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade today and save up to $4,000 during spring cleaning at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
See down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back up in the woods among the evergreens, there stood a log cabin made of earth and wood, where lived a country boy named Johnny B. Good, who never ever learned to read or write so well, but he could play a guitar just like a ringing a bell. Go, 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 Johnny, go, 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 Johnny, go, 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 Johnny, go, 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 Johnny, go, go. Johnny be good.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
All right, get to wrap things up here on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Chris in Springdale wants to know if I would ever eat one of these things. Look at this photo here. It's a hot dog with, God,
Does that got like chicken dumplings on it?
What is on this thing? Pot roast, caramelized onions, pickle slices, and mini pierogies.
What's a pierogi?
A pierogi is a Polish dumpling stuffed with either onions or cheese or potato or various meats and sauteed in the most butter this side of Paula Deen. I never thought of putting it on a hot dog with pot roast, for crying out loud. We're just overloading these hot dogs, man. What happened to the day of just a hot dog with a stripe of mustard and all the pickle relish you can find? I'm all for like putting stuff on hot dogs, but pierogies and pot roast on a dog, they call this a renegade dog. I don't think I'd be eating that.
Yeah, a bratwurst with some mustard and some onions and maybe some jalapenos. About all you need anymore.
They don't sell those anymore, Matt. No, you can only buy all you can buy is a building and a bun.
Rajon Rondo is going to retire. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer on numbers. I know he is on talent. Like you talk about best point guards to ever play the game. He is up there. He's a guy that I would have paid. I'd buy a ticket to go see him play. And a guy that elevated his game, made everybody around him. If you're talking about how to play the point guard position, that's who I want. Rajon Rondo. He's grimy. He's defensive. He wants to pass the ball. He's a leader. He led the NBA in triple doubles in the playoffs when they were going on that run. When he was with the Celtics, he elevated his game. One of my favorite all-time basketball players in the history of the game is Rajon Rondo, and he said he's going to hang him up today.
Kind of a controversial player too, right?
Yeah, he's got a little. He's not like Kyrie Irving controversial, but they're both. I mean, he's a Kentucky guy.
Not a flat earther.
I don't know that he's a flat earther. He did win that title in the bubble with the Lakers, so I bet he's on how many people won an NBA championship with the Lakers and the Celtics. So he's got.
I can't think of anybody.
He's got one of those. That's got to be pretty cool.
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Because I still, look, the NBA championship from the bubble is still an NBA championship.
Right.
It is. You can't take that away. It just has, I don't know. There's a little bit of an asterisk next to it.
Is it like the Spurs when they won it after like 47 game season or something? The strike season.
Yeah, it's like a strike season, but it's also under totally different standards than any other kind of season. Let's see, Rondo. Your boy was 15th all time in assists.
I'm telling you, if you're talking for my money, the way he played the game when Rajon Rondo was in his prime, You had Steve Nash, you had Deron Williams. You're thinking about some of the other guards that were playing. But Rajon Rondo, man, the way he did it on both ends of the floor, if he had a weakness, you want him to be able to shoot better. But his vision, his passing, his defense, everything that you want in a point guard, man, I'm Rajon Rondo is it for me.
I was excited when he got traded to the Mavs, but it was a rocky little situation there. And
he went all over the place after Boston. Everywhere. Dallas, Sacramento, Chicago, New Orleans, Lakers, Atlanta, Clippers, Lakers again, Cleveland. I mean, is
that a journeyman?
That is a journeyman, man. Absolutely, that is a journeyman.
He kind of those first, I want to know, 7-8 years is really.
Yeah, he was as good as it got. They never made an All-Star team after his 6th year in the NBA.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, he did compile a lot of stats. And when he was great, I mean, he had a real peak.
His playoff stats are always better than his regular season stats.
Well, that doesn't matter.
That's
in the NBA.
what I'm talking. It's like a baseball pitcher. Who was it? Kevin Brown. There was a Yankee pitcher that elevated Andy Pettitte, maybe.
Yeah, he did.
Regular season Andy Pettitte, not really worried about postseason Andy Pettitte. You better watch out.
Kevin Brown was the opposite.
There you go.
He was great regular season for the Yankees, and then he stunk in the playoff. And that's halftime for your Tuesday. I'll be back with you 5:30 for Arkansas versus Arkansas State on the Baseball Diamond. The Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast ready to go soon. And Ruskin and Zach are up next on ESPN Arkansas. We're back with you tomorrow for halftime. For Matt, for the C Unit, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown Bar District.